So not too long ago, we had 3 trailers drop on the same day. We had Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, we had Transformers Rise of the Beast, and we had Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Now, everyone has had a chance to kind of check it out. The numbers have coalesced, and let's see just how bad Indiana Jones is doing. Hey, stick around to the end as we see James Mangold, the director, never gives up an opportunity to insult someone in the worst way possible, but it's been a while, so I kindly ask, if you could, please subscribe to the channel, hit the notification icon, and like this video. It helps out a lot. So now, let's dive in. Alright, so we start out with statement. The upcoming Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny film is reportedly pacing far behind rival films Transformers Rise of the Beast and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Everything is from a Puck's Matthew Bellini. Basically, he just collated the data. The report is that the Transformers Rise of the Beast racked up over 506 million views in 2 weeks across all channels: YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter, which is an astounding number. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 drew in 187 million views, while Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny only brought in 79 million views. So a couple things to pack there. First and foremost, it wasn't exactly clear whether those two numbers were across all media or not, because to have such a huge disparity, 506 millions for Transformers and only 187,000 for Guardians, has me scratching my head a little. So I think those numbers might be misleading a bit, and that was done intentionally. I am completely bewildered by the interest in Transformers Rise of the Beast. Trust me, lifelong Transformers fan, don't get me wrong, but the trailer did not blow my mind. Nonetheless, let's keep going. So then they went and just looked at the straight up YouTube numbers, and this might give a slightly better or different view of things. So basically, as of January the 3rd, 2023, the Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny trailer had around just over 10 million views on the Lucasfilm YouTube channel. Flipping over to the MCU Marvel channel, Guardians of the Galaxy is sitting around 25.5 million views, well over double, which is outstanding. And the Transformers, again, making my head scratch, clocking in about 26.3 million views on the official Paramount channel. So again, this is probably a little bit more telling, although maybe not. So, and this is why you got to be super careful when you view these things. Just looking at straight across the board YouTube, pretty good picture emerges. Guardians and Transformers doubling the interest that Indiana Jones has. Makes total sense. But the across all channels thing is a maybe slightly more interesting number. And that is to say that the different platforms appeal to different age groups. The TikTok crowd, generally speaking, is going to be very different than the YouTube crowd. And I noticed that they didn't put the numbers for that in there. I think either weren't available or they're trying to get a certain message across, which I get, I understand. Just on the YouTube numbers alone, it might have been sufficient enough to give us a good indication. When you looked at across the board, though, things might have been, I suspect, still showing a lack of interest in Indiana Jones, possibly not as much a lack of interest. By the same token, real quick before we move on, because we do want to cover what James Mangold had to insult, or say, I guess, is that the YouTube is also maybe a bit more reliable from the standpoint that the YouTube demographics skew older, quote unquote. And that is to say that at least with Indiana Jones and Transformers, that would appeal generally to an older crowd, especially the Indiana Jones. Now, an argument can be made that, oh, well, there's younger people that were big fans of the Michael Bay Transformers movies. Guess there are, don't know. And as for Guardians, that's a pretty new property, so that definitely has a younger bent. Nonetheless, any way you slice it, the numbers for Indiana Jones do not look good, and that did not sit well with one James Mangold. So a while back, Matthew Kaddish shared his concerns about Indiana Jones by stating 4 issues. 1, Steven Spielberg is not directing. 2, Kathleen Kennedy is producing. 3, Harrison Ford is 78 years old. 4, it is written by Jonathan Kasdan, who wrote Solo. Now, Kasdan also wrote another little thing that I don't think was very common knowledge at the time this tweet was done, which is back in June of 2022. Kasdan wrote Willow, the TV show. That isn't the death knell I don't know what is. But this could not be going unanswered, and so Mangold replied, and wording here is very important. Thanks, Matt. 1. Keep making the world a better place, crapping on things in the first week of production from your basement. 2. Never seen a script by John. Nothing against him, just reality. Buttersworth and I started from a blank page. 3. 1 through 3 are hugely talented and all at my side. So there's a couple things to unpack here. Starts the tweet off by insulting him for being a basement dweller. Second, claims that Kasdan didn't write the script, which is interesting because up until a certain point, all reports that he had been. As things generally go in Hollywood, he was probably one of many writers on this, to be all honest. Still, not a great launching point. And 3, 1 through 3 are hugely talented and all at my side. Okay, Spielberg, talented, no question. Question as to what his involvement in this is, however, as for all intents and purposes, we haven't seen any. 2, Kathleen Kennedy, not talented. The very definition of not talented, in fact. She brings people their coffee. That's what she did. And 3, Harrison Ford, yes, incredibly talented. No one's taking that away from him. This is supposed to be an action-adventure movie, which I'm sorry, does not lend itself to a 78-year-old individual. So it continues on, however, as somebody started to call old Mangold out about, hey, this guy had a legit, or at least in his opinion, legit criticism of work, and you called him a basement dweller. Mangold tweets out, I never said people who criticize me live in basements. People criticize me all the time and don't get such comments. I think you know what caused me to reply to the specific clickbaiters the way I did, and I have said I am sorry if in my anger I spoke too broadly. Common tactic, they do the literal. So, did he literally, word for word, say people who criticize me live in basements? No, of course he didn't. But as you saw, he did say that someone who criticized him lives in a basement. It's the exact same thing. Semantics is not going to save you, and saying that you said it in anger is actually fine. Don't apologize. Own it. If you're angry, be angry. There's nothing wrong with it. But that is not enough. And so Matthew Kaddish makes the final reply. First thing Mangold said to me was that I was a basement dweller. All right, so to recap, I guess it's not entirely surprising that the interest in Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny is so much lower than Guardians of the Galaxy, which looks amazing. I'm still scratching my head on the Transformers. Help me out, you guys. What am I not getting here? And Jim Mangold is basically a dick and a simp, since he can't even own up to being angry. These are my takes. What are yours? Please let me know.